Good morning, Monday morning. Crazy day ahead. Heading to Jerusalem now to meet Judah Taub from a new VC, Chetz Ventures. Met with him a couple of times, but never was able to convince him to get on camera. That will change today. After that, I'm giving a talk to a bunch of 16-year-old American high school students visiting Israel. I don't have much more context. The name of the program is Jolt Israel, and some old friends of mine asked me to come speak to them, so I'll be doing that. Heading afterwards to Joseph's Burger to meet an old friend of mine I haven't seen in probably 20 years. And then meeting one of the Mass Challenge startups that was at my talk and heard me talk and asked me to come meet with them afterwards. So doing that. A couple of other meetings in Jerusalem, but basically it's back to back all day. Here we go. Jerusalem, 7:30 a.m. You're going to meet Judah Taub now, who is kind of like a young gun. Like I said, a new VC. What's interesting, though, is that while everyone talks about the Israeli ecosystem in terms of startups, there seems to be a new, young generation of VCs bubbling up. A whole bunch of VCs. Some of them you met, some of them you're going to meet, who just launched their funds and are investing in some seriously hard tech, like Judah, who just made an investment. But I'll let him tell you more about that. Heading to the Montefiore Hotel in Jerusalem. All my years, never been there. Beautiful morning in Jerusalem, though. Bright and early meeting. There aren't many people I would meet at 7:30 in the morning for, but this guy. All right, so this is, I think, our third meeting?
Yeah.
Third meeting. First two times, I tried very hard to get him on camera with no luck. But this time, I was lucky enough to get Mr. Rabbi Judah, Doctor. What do I call you?
Definitely not rabbi or doctor.
All right, whatever. My rabbi. Judah Taub, who's, like I said to you earlier, there's this up-and-coming, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've definitely noticed, there's this up-and-coming, a young gun generation of VCs in Israel. You know, traditionally, at least when I started in tech, you know, the word on the street was that, you know, there's like the old school VCs in this country, and you go in as like an assistant, as like an associate or a principal. You never really go anywhere because it's just kind of like they have their partners and whatever. And that might be true about the old school VCs, but what's happening now is there's a whole bunch of them, popping up now and, you know, raising $50, $100 million funds and investing, deploying capital pretty fast and investing in some pretty amazing companies. You know, there's Dovi Olich, there's a whole bunch of them. Of course, at 7:30 in the morning, I've only had one coffee, so it'll escape me. It will come to me as we discuss this, as we discuss the ecosystem, but there's a whole bunch of them. Take my word for it. All right, so what's your story? Where are you from? What's your deal? Give me your background.
Okay, born in London, grew up in Jerusalem.
Couldn't tell at all by the accent.
Yeah, went through the army 5 years.
What'd you do in the army, by the way?
I was 5 years in intelligence.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
And then, got married, moved to London, worked for a London-based hedge fund for 4 years, and then came back to start a VC.
I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Do you watch Billions?
No.
Do you know what Billions is?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Well, you must watch it. No, seriously. Like,
because a lot of people mention
Shlomo Mervis told me about it a couple of weeks ago, and I started watching it. Obsessed. You would love it, I'm telling you. All right, so you started this fund, Chetz Ventures, right?
Yeah.
What's the deal? Give me the background. How did this start? What's the philosophy? Talk to me.
It came together because of really three people. The first one was Stuart Roden. He's chairman of Lansdowne, which is the hedge fund I used to work at.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been investing in Israel periodically over the years, but definitely wanted to get more involved. The second one is Lord Feldman, or Andrew Feldman, who previously was the CEO and chairman of the Conservative Party, and after that role also wanted to get more involved in the high-tech space and also in Israel, a lot of buzz, as you mentioned. And the third one was me, very much wanted to find something in Israel that I could do here, and just the combination of the three of us sort of made it happen.
Very cool. All right, how big is the fund?
55 million.
55 million. And I would say your philosophy on investing is not, unique, and that no one else does it, but it's pretty unique.
Yeah.
Give me the philosophy.
So in one word, it would be activism. We are very active, both in the due diligence phase and then most importantly after we invest in a company. So if you were to ask how our time is split, it's not the typical 95% of the time we are searching for deals and 5% time we happen to have a portfolio of companies. We are active in trying to ensure that these companies are successful. Obviously it's the companies and it's the founders and it's their company and they should make the decisions at the end of the day, but we are definitely another member underneath the stretcher or the alunka, trying to help them carry the massive weight and move it forwards.
Okay, so let's talk about that for 1 second.
Yeah.
While I happen to know that's the truth in terms of your philosophy and the value add, and as a marketing guy, I met with a startup the other day, and whatever name of the company irrelevant now, but they have an SDK. They have a very interesting mechanism for in-app advertising, but at the end of the day, it's in-app advertising, right? I said to them, yeah, you guys do it differently. That's true, but you know what? Every other person who's coming to mobile developers is also saying our SDK is unique. We're doing it. So while I know you provide a lot of value after the check, the problem is your challenge is that every other VC is saying the same thing, which it gives you a bit of a challenge because because you're young, right? Your VC's young, and until you actually deliver on that. By the way, we're doing the talk, as you see all the activity here, in the place that I'll be giving the talk to this group of students afterwards. And so there's a lot of activity going on here. I don't think they understand that there's a camera here, so they're like having a conversation. But we're in Israel, so it's all good. He's setting up my computer that I asked for, and this is kind of I'm complaining. Okay, so but what I meant when I said you have a unique philosophy is actually the type of investments that you make. In other words, you're not investing in let's call it, I don't mean to belittle social media, but you're not investing in social media platforms, you're not investing in any soft tech, you're investing in some hardcore. Talk to me about that.
So two things. So the first part of your question is how do we manage to persuade people that we're different than others? And there's no easy answer because everyone's pitching the same thing.
Right.
So the two ways that we try and overcome that is firstly, just during the due diligence process, anybody who's gone through more than 2 meetings with us will realize we are different.
Okay.
We will come to the third meeting not having done a little bit of homework at home, but most probably we've spoken to one of their largest potential clients.
So you're all in. You're like getting deep.
Yeah, if we're doing it, we're doing it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll do the deal, but honestly, if I was a founder, I would want to just go through our due diligence process because they will learn a lot and they will probably get about them. So we have connected companies in the ecosystem here to CISOs of the largest corporations in the world, literally just to learn about it. And for the founder, that's invaluable. For him, that's maybe 12 or 18 months of preparation before he can get that meeting. Here, just through our connections and through our network, we might facilitate that meeting for the due diligence process.
And your partners, by the way, the 2 people that you mentioned, are they officially the partners in the fund?
Yeah, GPs.
So we have other three general partners?
3 general partners, 2 venture partners, and I mean a bunch of others. It's worth mentioning both Pavel Lifshitz and Zulu Last, who are both hugely influential in our fund.
Interesting. Who are the LPs? Where's the money come from? Just on a high level.
All
British. Oh, it's perfect. Okay. All right. So now, in terms of the technology, first of all,
I just point one other thing is
so rude.
Probably the most powerful thing we can do is say to any one of the new entrepreneurs walking into the room, say to them, literally call up any one of the companies we've invested in. Here's the name of the companies we've invested in. Here's the name of the founders. You pick whichever one you want to speak to, and just you do your due diligence. And if there's one piece of advice I would give to founders is do maybe 10% of the due diligence on us that we do on you. It's unbelievable to me. For me,
do 10% or what do you mean?
Do 10%. The amount of hours we will put in choosing which company we want to invest in. Maybe 100 hours on a company before we write the check. We'll do that in 3 weeks, sometimes even less. But it's amazing to me to see how quickly a company will take money from a VC without doing due diligence on that VC.
But why 10%? I would think you should do equal amount of due diligence.
That's a great number. I would be happy if they were doing even 10%. Just call up, find out about the guys you're taking money from, find out about how much value they really provide.
Such an interesting point. You know what? I think about this quite often, and we all know this. At the end of the day, entrepreneurs are strapped for money. They need to raise capital, so they'll just kind of take money from the first money that throws it at them, and that's a huge mistake. And I can tell you from experience, both my own companies and companies that I've been advising, when you take the wrong money, you end up, it's like when you go to the garage, you choose a cheaper garage, you end up paying more because you go, when you take the wrong money, it causes damage long term that you end up spending more and having a harder time building your company. So it's a very valid point. I definitely think it should be more than 10%, but the amount of due diligence that he does on a company, the company should do on the VC as well when raising capital. Very, very good point. All right, talk to me about your investment that you announced.
The first one, so it wasn't, so we've made up to date 4 investments in about 7 months, and I think that's quite active. 3 of them are now still in stealth mode, which we're fine with. We support them, and the first one, Trigger Vision, they announced they're sort of a competitor of Amazon Go, so it's cameras in the ceiling taking pictures of people, and hopefully
Amazon Go is the shopping?
Yeah.
So like a shopping experience that you just walk
Shopping
in?
experience, you walk in, you grab your groceries, you walk out,
Wow.
and it bills you automatically.
How? Sell me on this. Like when that entrepreneur came in to meet you and they said, you know, we're doing this and this, and you said, wait a second, isn't Amazon Go doing that? What in your mind said, okay, I want to invest in somebody that's competing with Amazon?
The people. So
Great answer.
Yeah, it's the people. You meet. In this case, it's two brothers. You meet them, you get to know them, you sit with them for supper, you sit with them over a beer. Obviously, you due diligence the hell out of the technology. In this case, we took them to top professors. We also have a bit of experience in machine vision. We took them to basically the biggest clients that they could potentially get and heard the feedback from them. And by and large, we understand where Amazon's going. We understand where some of their competitors are going, but we believe in them.
Super cool. So what are your criteria for investments?
Nearly every VC has the same criteria. It's the weight that you give the different vectors or different elements of it. I think compared to other VCs, we probably give more weight. I'm cautious in saying this because everybody would say sort of more weight to people, but I still think in the grand scheme of things, we would give more weight to the people, how much we get along with them. And we probably have another criteria that other people don't, which is how much we think we could help this company. So when we're thinking of the value of a company, we're thinking about the value of the company sometimes with us.
Love it.
And not just by themselves.
Okay. But you are only investing in hard tech, is that true? Did I make that up?
Yeah, no, deep technology is definitely a preferred avenue of ours.
Meaning IP?
Yes, one way or another.
Why? Sell me on that. I'll tell you why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Because, and you know, this is a debate, obviously, that has been debated and enough has been said about it. But if you look at the big winners today, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? No one is hard tech. I mean, no one is deep. What is now? Facebook has deep tech to scale, but at the time it was just a website with Twitter. There's no deep tech there. I don't know what. Look at all the any of the big platforms. Apple makes beautiful hardware, but again, of course, there's deep technology now. But at the beginning, it was just good experience, hardware, software integration, whatever it is. I mean, you look at all the big winners. None of them had deep tech, machine learning, algorithms, things like that.
What were the biggest exits of the Israeli market?
Okay, interesting. Well, we had Waze, we had
Mobileye.
Well,
we had a few medical ones.
And just now there was Datarama.
Yeah.
Okay,
all of those by and large are deep tech.
Interesting, very interesting. But I think that's what.
But that's not the main reason. The main reason is that everybody's going to stick to what you're good at. I wouldn't know how to even start looking at a sort of social consumer platform. But the team we have are very much geared towards deep tech and B2B sales.
Would you say that among the many differences between Israel and Silicon Valley, there are a lot of differences. Many people have discussed that as well. Maybe perhaps it's fair to say that in Silicon Valley as a whole, generalizing, there's more consumery, and in Israel it's more hard tech?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's natural. So if you're going to start with some social platform, you're going to start with the places that are closest to you, closest to home. The problem that Israeli ecosystem is going to have is if you have a social platform working in Israel, everybody's still going to say, well, if it works in Israel, is it going to work everywhere else in the world?
Right.
But if you have a piece of software, it's pretty much if it works in one place, it's going to work somewhere else.
Interesting. Very interesting. All right. If there's an entrepreneur watching this that wants to send you a deck, that wants to be in touch with you, that wants to learn more about Chetz Ventures, what's the website?
Chetz.vc. That's HETZ.
Beautiful. And the best way to get you a deck without bombarding you, would you
just send it?
Yeah, your email. What's your email?
JTaub. JTAUB.
Okay.
At
Chetz.vc.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Send them your decks, but make sure it's relevant. Obviously, strong team, strong tech. These guys move fast. I mean, like you said, 4 investments in 7 months.
Yeah, we've seen 350 companies. We've had 160 first meetings of those decks.
When do you sleep?
No, we do. We just work hard.
You got your coffee here somewhere, so that's important.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, good luck with everything. Let me know how I can help, and I'm going to run through this talk now, and let's be in touch.
Fantastic.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very much.
I'm on camera. Yeah. Talk starts in 5.
So Hillel Fuld is somebody that I've been following on social media for a number of years. He's a high-tech guru here in Israel. He is a food aficionado, which I always enjoy.
First time ever being called that.
I always enjoy seeing your posts of what you're eating, especially the steak formitos with the goose liver on top.
The real
fantastic. I do actually really do. I mean, everybody knows I'm a foodie. He's also well known for helping people get jobs in Israel, which is amazing. He's a shadchan, like a business shadchan, which is great. And I wanted to bring him in to speak to you guys. Number one, because of the fact that it's very important to me growing up that you understand that when, please God, all of you move to Israel, that there are great jobs available for you, and there are great people like Hillel who are able and willing to help create that shidduch with people in your particular area of interest. And in addition to that, for you to see somebody who really is a leader in his field, somebody who started from the ground and moved all the way up. And it's important for you to see that. It's important for you to see that b'chlal, and it's important for you to see that here in Israel. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Hillel Fuld.
Hey, how was the talk? I did not pay them to do that, but thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your stay. That went exceptionally well. Heading now to Home Talk for a meeting there, and then to Joseph's Burger. Loving this day. I'm usually here at Home Talk on Sundays, which is no vlog day, so I never have my camera. Today I have it, and you have to see the view. Sit down for this. That is Jerusalem. I often drone off of this porch. As you can imagine, it's pretty epic footage, but look at this view of Jerusalem. Probably one of the best startup views in the country. Heading now to Joseph's Burger in Machane Yehuda, the Jerusalem marketplace, to meet an old friend. And then heading to Mass Challenge to meet a company there. I love Machane Yehuda, one of my favorite places. Mr. Joseph's Burger, right here, the man himself. Takes good care of me always. Well, what's going on here? What's going on today? A lot of activity, a lot of action.
Today, all the people that they didn't eat meat all these 9 days.
I haven't eaten meat in 9 days. This is my first meal.
This is your first meal?
First meat in 9 days.
I make the best burger now.
Done.
One Angus, one Mexican.
Wow, you remembers my order.
Goose liver.
Oh my goodness.
Egg.
Wow, man, that's
All
impressive.
the veggies on the side.
Let's do it. All right.
Okay.
The Jerusalem marketplace, Machane Yehuda, one of the coolest places on planet Earth. Truth is, I was planning on ending my day just now, and I have a couple of more meetings, but I was not going to turn on the camera. But then, walking through the halls of Mass Challenge, how dramatic does that sound? Walking through the halls of Mass Challenge, I bump into this woman, who actually was on one of the first, I think, 10 vlog episodes I ever did. We were meeting at Mitos, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And I just had to turn on the camera because when I talk about the level of creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship in this country, I don't think anyone, illustrates that point more than you. Who are you? What's your name?
Hi, my name is Helen Wexler.
Helen Wexler. So you're from Jerusalem, originally from Jerusalem?
I was born in New York, actually upstate New York, and I moved to Israel when I was 10, so I grew up pretty much my whole life here.
Got it. I actually don't know where to start with you. It's like, where do you even start? Okay, so you now relocated temporarily to LA.
Yeah.
For one simple reason. What you're building is unfundable in Israel. Why is it unfundable in Israel? Because what you're building is the future. It's not something that will generate ROI in the next 5-8 years like every other tech deal. It's not a tech deal. What are you building? Sit down.
So we're working on developing technology to 3D print Mars habitat for a NASA competition.
So you're building houses on Mars?
We're trying to build the printer that will build the houses on Mars. So the idea is actually that you send the printer there and then you use local Mars materials as your construction material so that you don't have to ship building supplies with you.
Why?
Why do you want to use local materials?
No, why do you want to build houses on Mars?
Oh, so there's a lot of reasons you want to build houses on Mars. I think the exploration, supporting science, having infrastructure, and what I'm really excited about is becoming a multiplanetary species.
Yeah, you would be excited about that.
The other thing that people don't get about this project is like, yeah, Mars sucks now, but like if you terraformed it and created an artificial atmosphere, Mars could be a really awesome planet in 200 years. People are like, oh, 200 years, that's so far, that's such a long time away, like why are you working on this now? And I tell people like, you know, the cathedrals that you go visit in Europe, they took 400 years to build some of those. You know, those people had vision.
Right. I love it. I actually love it. So like realistically speaking, Helen, like honestly, let's just kind of say that you honestly fundamentally believe that we will be living on Mars in the future?
I think so, yeah. And we're also, so the other thing is...
I don't even know where to start. Like, okay.
I think we'll be living on Mars. I think we'll go back to the moon first. We're also interested in seeing if our technology could be applied to the moon as well.
Why haven't we been back on the moon, by the way? What's up with that?
So when we went to the moon, the U.S. was spending 6% of their GDP on space. Today they're spending less than 0.1%.
It's also the GDP is much larger, I would imagine.
The GDP is much larger. They're just spending way less money on space than they used to. Space is expensive, and that's actually one of the reasons why we're in the U.S.
Why is it so expensive? What's the most expensive part of space?
A lot. So first of all, space-proofing things is really expensive, right? It's just a higher level of development because space is a.
Crazy.
I mean, you have radiation, you have vibrations upon launch, you have kind of all these additional challenges that you have to engineer for, so that makes things more expensive.
Can I ask you a question, a personal question? How old are you?
28.
When do you think, at what age do you think you will be in space? You, personally?
Maybe 50? Because I'm not an early adopter. Like, I'm not going to be on the first, I'm not going to be like on the first like 3 trips to Mars. I mean, you know, when it's like commercialized and there's like, you know, tourists who can go to Mars, you go for a couple of years, you come back.
The first time we met, the second time we met, and this time, you're blowing my mind, but for me, the culmination of how awesome you truly are is one sentence that you said to me, one sentence. You know, when you talk to startups, they talk about building an MVP. Like, we're building an MVP, you know, it's gonna work, but it's not gonna have the API. Like, she's like, we're building an MVP, and she says to me, don't laugh. What'd you say to me?
I said, don't laugh, our MVP will probably be on the moon.
So we're building an MVP on the moon. Not words you hear often. Listen, you know, I usually end my interviews with entrepreneurs and say, let me know how I can help. With you, that's like a joke. I mean, how can I don't think there's anything I can do to help. Well, not anything. That's true. We did think of somebody that I could connect you with, but beyond that, I don't think there's anything I can do to help. But if something pops into your head that I can help with on the marketing front, the business front, any connections, obviously it goes without saying I'm happy to help. But I only have one request.
Yeah.
LA?
What?
LA? Come back here. We need people like you in this country.
I'm dying to come back.
You're gonna come back, right?
I'm dying to come back here. I love Jerusalem. It's my favorite place in the whole world.
Awesome.
It's just for us, it wasn't really an issue of funding.
Okay, you need to raise funding, and like we said, you know, it's not fundable in Israel. VC's not investing something that will be, you know, ROI positive in 30 years from now, if that.
In LA, there's really a space industry, and we're
Oh,
getting
we didn't talk about who
support.
adopted you.
Oh, yeah. So we got adopted by Caltech, which is nice.
You know, side point, we just forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Like, you're like kicking. All right, whatever. Listen to me.
We're getting a lot of knowledge there, which we hope one day to.
If someone is interested in this world, if someone wants to learn more about you, wants to contact you, feels that they can help you in any way, whatever it is, what is the best way to contact you or learn more about your work?
To drop me an email. Yeah, my email is Helen E. Wexler, HelenEWexler @gmail.com.
Okay, but we have to work on that. You have to have some sort of like a domain like housesonmars.com or something like that. It'd just be a whole lot cooler. But anyway, Helen, amazing to see you. It was a super awesome surprise. I'm running to my next meeting, but again, shoot me that email that we talked about. But beyond that, if there's anything I can do to help you, amazing. And I'll let you know when I'm in LA next time, but come back soon because we don't like what we call in Hebrew, brichat hamochot, like the brains leaving the country. We need the brains here in Israel. So this is where it's all happening. Get yourself funded and then come back here and build it here.
We can't wait to.
Awesome. All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Made it home. It was a fantastic day in Jerusalem. Heading back to Jerusalem tonight for dinner, but I'll be leaving the camera at home for that. Tomorrow's a pretty relaxed day in Tel Aviv, and the rest of the week is going to be nuts. See you tomorrow.